Hello everyone. Today is 22nd of December. Now it's 6 o'clock in the evening Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is our traditional Sunday live stream community chat. I'm a bit late for a second or two, for a minute or two, sorry, because I was testing speed of internet because I'm streaming through VPN and speed, but hopefully it will work out, hopefully. If any technical issues, significant technical issues, I will just stop the live stream. For now, let's start. And dear friends, please tell me in the chat if stream is okay. Hello to you all, and thank you for participating in this community chat. And many thanks to all the members of our community, of course, also, who will watch this video later on. And well, let's start this stream. There will be one more stream, if no technical issues, before end of this year, next Sunday, and then we are in 2025. Natalie is commenting so far so good. Thank you for feedback. So dear friends, I have prepared a number of news and I will go through this news during the stream. Also, I will go through some news that I published on my Telegram channel during the day. And of course, I will monitor chat, and if I see any question, I will definitely answer on that. And I do have a question that I receive from True. Well, there is an issue with the stream already. OBS is telling me that connection is lost. And we are back. So question from Yaroslav is that, now let's read it. Greetings, Levan. I have a question. Scott Ritter said that Syria is finished and done, and it will be like the second Libya. Is there a possibility of making an independent republic on the Mediterranean coast in the vicinity of Russian bases where could live Alawites and the Christians in peace without oppression? Has Russia enough forces to do that? Prayers for people of Syria in these difficult times, and Bashar and his family for blessed life in Russia. And well, when it comes to main part of the question itself, there is a possibility, obviously, that Syria, as a united state, may not survive, although I guess Turkey will do whatever it can to maintain control over their as much territory as possible, including over the Latakia province, where Russian bases are really strong enough indicators that we will see a split of Syria in several parts. But theoretically, that's a possibility. When it comes to presence of Russian bases there, and question, does Russia has enough forces to, for example, secure Alawites and the Christians in this part of Syria? Russia has enough forces to take out enemy even from Russia. Some weapon systems can be launched from Russia, and trust me, enemies of Russia will find out soon what is how it feels to be on the receiving end of this means of destruction. But yet again, this is a geopolitical issue, and Russia alone obviously cannot act on this geopolitical chessboard. If locals in Latakia province will fight for independence, well, some major powers may get involved in that case and guarantee their security, but But as long as locals are not really fighting, I guess it will be extremely difficult for outsider parties to play a crucial role in this regards. I guess that's how it is. Although theoretically, yes, it is possible that Latakia province may split from Syria, and also some southern parts where Druze people are living, and as you know, number of representatives of Druze community even asked Israel to secure them from possible oppressions. So that southern part may also, didn't recognize new regime in Damascus. And of course, we have northern, eastern parts of Syria where Kurdish people are in charge right now. But yet again, I have some doubts that Ankara or Turkey will ever agree for independent Kurdistan to be created on territory of Syria or on territory of Iraq or elsewhere because of the attitude of Turkey towards this idea of Kurdish states. As you know, there are significant minority, Kurdish minority in Turkey itself. They are fighting for independence and their rights for decades and decades, basically since the creation of Turkey. And Ankara is very clear on that. They will not allow any such state to exist. So right now, there is no strong indicators that Syria is about to get split, although it is possibility for sure that certain parts of Syria will be controlled by different groups, like it is in Libya, where there is one government in Tripoli, capital of former Libya, and another government is in Benghazi. They don't recognize each other very much. They are constantly in fight with some, periodical truce. And of course, there are many parts of southern Libya that are basically controlled by terrorist groups, right? So, yes, there is a strong possibility that Syria may end up being split, not officially, or divided, not officially, but de facto. That's quite a possibility. And dear friends, I see a question. Philippa C is asking, Russian Christians is January 1st, right? A Russian Christmas. Dear friends, in Russia, of course, majority of us are Orthodox Christians, and we celebrate Christmas on 7th of January. Although there is a significant community here in Russia of Greek Christians, Greek Orthodox Christians. I believe Greeks are celebrating on 25th of January. And of course, Western Christianity celebrates also on 25th of December, right? And so many people here in Russia, by the way, myself included, I celebrate on 25th, I celebrate on 7th. It's a celebration, right? So there is no issue. But officially for us, I'm a Georgian Orthodox Christian, right? And Georgian Orthodox Christian and Russian Orthodox Christian churches are sister churches. We have similar celebrations, absolutely. And I am welcomed in any Russian Orthodox church, as any Russian Orthodox Christian is welcomed in any Georgian Orthodox church, obviously. And we celebrate on 7th of, officially we celebrate on 7th of January, Christmas. First January is a big celebration, but it's not religious celebration. It's beginning of the new year, and it's a secular celebration. One of the biggest one in Russia, also in Georgia, in many other former Soviet republics, and we are preparing for a New Year celebration, and It's a big deal here for sure. I know in the Western world, there Christmas is a major celebration, and New Year is not so much. But here, New Year is much celebrated in much wider way, if I may say that way. And of course, then 7th of January comes, our Christmas, and we celebrate that also, of course. So that's how it is. Also, I saw questions. So Joseph Roy is asking, is Russia moving to Libya and then going to build a second warm water base in Eritrea to help multipolarity in Africa? Well, Russia is presented in Libya for quite a while now, and as many members of parliament you probably know, Russian private military companies, Wagnerites, for example, are actively cooperating with Benghazi, where General Haftar is in charge, or Marshal, or whatever his title is. And yes, Russia is involved in Libya, and it might be surprising for some, but in Libya, Russia, a number of NATO member states are on one side, and also number of countries from Arabian Peninsula. United Arab Emirates are also actively involved, or used to be at least, on side of Benghazi. And I guess because UAE was involved there, Saudi Arabia is also, I guess, on that side there. Egypt, I believe, also. Although Turkey, by the way, on side of Tripoli. So it's quite complicated stuff that is happening in Libya, and of course Benghazi is used to be, and it is still, major port of Libya, which is involved in export of Libyan energy, gas, oil, and so on. And when it comes to possible Russian military bases, I know there are talks, by the way, with Sudan to build a naval base there. Possibly, yes, Eritrea, maybe. Although one should keep in mind that Eritrea and Ethiopia still have difficult relationships. They are not at war anymore, but relationships are still difficult, and Moscow has to balance its policies towards both, because of course Ethiopia is a major country, right, in the region, and I'm not quite sure about Russian base in Ethiopia, but it is a possibility. Theoretically speaking, it might happen, right? So one way or another, with naval base or without it, Russia is one of the major political, military, economical powerhouses in this world, and of course, presence of Russia will be noticeable all around the world, and positive presence, by the way, in a positive way. Dear friends, if I miss any questions, sorry for that. I can see, I did not open donation alerts, but during the last stream there was no donations, nothing there, so I don't know if it's even necessary, but I will open it anyways. If I see a question on donation alerts, of course I will answer straight away. Nothing at this moment, and so yes, let's continue. Bencher Dent is asking Levan, do you think that someone within Russia helped Ukraine in these drone attacks? You mean Kazan, attacks on Kazan? Theoretically speaking, it is a possibility that Kiev regime's secret services, so-called secret services, have their assets, and it's not just theoretical stuff, by the way. They have assets on Russian territory, unfortunately, and Russian security services are working 24/7, by the way, to neutralize all the threats. And last time I checked, more than about 150 terrorist attacks were prevented by Russian security services. Terrorist attacks, majority of which was connected to Kiev regime secret services. So secret services here in Russia are working, but unfortunately they cannot be everywhere constantly, always, right? And Kiev regime, being terrorist regime, is using different means to recruit people in Russia, including with blackmail, with fraud and so on, and they're forcing those people to act on behalf of Kiev regime and conduct some terrorist attacks. For example, last several days, as I mentioned in today's first update, there was a wave of these attacks, different type of attacks, arson attacks, also in some shopping malls, some disturbed people that were operating on behalf of Kiev regime were using fireworks to create chaotic situation. At one occasion, it was in St. Petersburg, I believe, elderly woman under orders of Kiev regime went into a bank where these bank machines were, and she threw some fuel over those how you say bankomat, and she put fire there, right? Elderly woman, by the way. I mean, what the hell, right? But and she barely survived because there was a explosion after that because of the when you pour some fuel, of course it starts to evaporate straight away, and Viper is extremely flammable, right? So that's what Kiev regime does. So therefore, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Russian security services in upcoming days will share with public some information about some criminals, basically, that were acting on behalf of Kiev regime. But when it comes to these long-range drone strikes, by the way, these drone strikes are organized, I believe, by NATO member states. NATO member states are providing targeting data, flight path for these drones. So I would not, I'm not taking position. On internet you may see so many opinions, isn't it? And according to some opinions, these drones are launched not from Kiev controlled territory, but from within Russia, which is technically speaking also a possibility. But in my personal opinion, these drones, majority of these long-range drones are launched from Kiev controlled territory with active participation of the NATO member states, US, first of all, US and UK, because they have technical means, including satellite intelligence, satellite navigation systems that can allow, and satellite intelligence that can allow Kiev regime to now, navigate these drones in such a way to minimize possibility that these drones will be detected by Russian air defense systems, right? Buncher Dent is asking, Russian arms exports has dropped from 14 billion to 1 billion. Well, I don't know latest numbers, dear friend. Maybe that's how it is, yes. And this is not really a surprise, I guess, because of course Russia is involved in this high-intensity conflict, and Russian military-industrial complex, which is working 24/7, is first of all fulfilling all the orders that comes from Russian Defense Ministry, and then comes foreign orders. This may be very unpleasant for foreign partners, India included, because there may be some delays in deliveries of weapon systems. But I guess Russian friends will understand that Russia is in difficult situation, right? Western ruling class is waging proxy war against Russia, and the collective West is a few dozens of countries, isn't it? And from collective West, only two we can name, maybe three somewhat, that are not actively involved in hostilities against Russia. Although third one, Turkey, I have some doubts about that. But Hungary and Slovakia nowadays definitely are out of direct hostilities from Russia. Although previous government of Slovakia, of course, has very different approach, and they basically demilitarized Slovakia. When Roberto Fico and his government came to power, they were shocked to realize that Slovakia was demilitarized. That's how much weapons and munition was sent to Kyiv regime by previous government there. And I believe investigations are on the way in Slovakia because of these anti-Slovakian policies of the previous government. So yes, Russian exports are down for time being, but once this conflict will end, and this conflict will end one day, isn't it? Most likely in 2025. Let's hope so. I believe Russia will gain positions on the world market of weapons, because everyone knows if you want affordable and reliable weapon systems, you have to buy Russian weapons, man. It's just well known everywhere, right? So Z12IT is asking why the Ukrainian secret services seem to be that strong and successful within Russia. Isn't it strange? Well, if you think it's not that strange, really, because as I said many times before, dear friends, this is civil war inside the Russian world, right? This is civil war, and you're not gonna distinguish. If you think you're gonna distinguish Ukrainian from Russian, I mean, you are most likely mistaken. Majority of Ukrainians are like us, right? Unfortunately, they are loud and powerful minority of those neo-Nazis, fascists, and terrorists that are in charge now, and are terrorizing citizens of this former Soviet Republic. Also, they are trying to terrorize not just Russian citizens, but they are terrorizing, first of all, citizens of Ukraine, right? But majority is Russian speaking, right? And I guess they are very sorry now that they didn't act in 2014 when that coup d'etat had happened in Kyiv. I'm 100% convinced majority of citizens of Ukraine feel sorry that they didn't act then. And they allow these Western-controlled fascists and the Nazis to overtake their country, because look what has happened to Ukraine since then. And what I want to say by this is that they know language, by the way, they know culture, and therefore they are managing to infiltrate Russia relatively easily. And it works both ways. I'm quite sure Russian security services have also many operatives in Kyiv-controlled territory. You did not hear about it often, because I believe in a level of professionalism of Russian security services on top of the game, while Kyiv regime, and they might pull off terrorist attacks, but they are degenerating for sure, because no self-respected state institution would allow itself to act in a way that Kyiv regime's so-called secret services are acting, right? Endangering civilians intentionally. But yet again, unfortunately, because they have a almost endless source of money, and means to threaten some people. Unfortunately, they are managing to infiltrate, but I would not say they are strong. It's not about they being strong. It's about they are using them, using similarities between their societies, right? Zelensky himself, by the way, do you think he was speaking in this Ukrainian like 5-10 years ago? No. Take a look at his interviews, by the way. He was always speaking in Russian. Even now, he's struggling with Ukrainian because he is a Russian speaker. And majority in Ukraine is a Russian speaker. That's why I'm saying, dear friends, this is civil war inside the Russian world. And unfortunately, Western ruling class managed to provoke this civil war. And as you know, civil wars are most tragic and devastating. If you remember civil war after revolution in the beginning of 20th century, it was a immense tragedy, isn't it, for peoples of former Russian Empire. And that civil war took so many lives, isn't it? And it was extremely brutal war, by the way, which was won by Red Army eventually, obviously, but war was brutal. Bencherdent is asking, what do you think will be the effort of Poland to protect its airport used for Ukraine's logistics? If Russian leadership decides to take out any military target, I don't think there is any means of in hands of NATO member states to protect that particular military asset, be in airfield or some other type of military base. So Poland can do nothing really. Polish militaries can do nothing, absolutely nothing. If Russia decides that this airfield or this military base have to be neutralized because that particular facility is directly involved in this conflict, then Poland or NATO in general has no means to avoid destruction of that facility. So therefore, they can do nothing. Question is, will Russian leadership authorize strikes on military assets of their NATO member states that are directly involved in this conflict? That's a whole different topic. And as I said in today's first update, I think at least before 20th of January, Moscow will not authorize such strikes. After 20th of January, when Russian leadership will finally see that even though Trump is in office, West is still continues with this escalation and long-range strikes and so on. After that, we might see real Russian retaliatory steps. I mean, serious ones. But and if that will happen, then Western ruling class, NATO just has no means to stop incoming Russian means of destruction, be in Oreshnik or number of other systems that Russia can deploy. So and so dear friends, do I miss? Oh, question I see. John Dickinson is here. Hello, John. Hello, everybody, once again, dear friends. And thank you very much for participating. John is asking, how are your kids doing with their move and their school changes? Oh, thank you for your question, John. We are adapting. It is difficult stuff, by the way, obviously, but kids are doing okay. Older daughter is is in university, first year in university on Faculty of Journalism, and you know, I'm proud of her. Obviously, she's making good progress in this path, working hard, and you know, it's all good. And their younger daughter, she's also happy. You know, seems like she adapted to the new school quite well. She has new friends here also, so it's all good. It is stressful though. Obviously, it is the case, I guess, everywhere, not just in Russia, but in any country. Move is significant stuff, and it is stressful, but you know, it's all good. Thank you, John, for your question. Nidish Kumar is asking how long it takes until cancer vaccine are completely available across the world. They're only good news at the present in the world. Well, this vaccine is still in development here in Russia, and it will take some time because all the test trials will be completed. But according to reports that I see, progress is significant, and Russian scientists are highly optimistic about this vaccine. So in several years' time, humanity finally may get a breakthrough fighting cancer. So well, I guess that's the best answer that I can give you. But no, last time I see news about that was about how optimistic scientists are with the results that they already have. But still, of course, many trials has to be taken, and when scientists will be sure that this vaccine is you know, safe to distribute, then of course Russia will distribute this vaccine to everybody. But it will take time. It will definitely take some more time. But breakthrough, as far as I understand, Russian scientists achieved breakthrough in this regard. So, you know. And Nidish Kumar is also asking, I already answered to this question. Dear friends, I received a question, donation from Daniela on PayPal. Thank you for your updates. Thank you, Daniela, for your support. There is no question, but truly grateful for your support. Thank you. And question on boosting from Jerry Kogan. Hello, Jerry. And let's go through this question. Do you know how the Turkish people are reacting to Erdogan's decision to collaborate with Israel? I thought they had been demanding pressure on Israel and support for the Palestinians. Yes, yes. I'm on the same page with you. And as far as I understand, there are many people in Turkey were quite disappointed because of the cooperation between Turkey and the Turkish leadership and Israel, despite the strong statements that Erdogan was making. But what had happened now is that Turkey basically regained control over their Syria, majority of territory of Syria, right, including Damascus, including Aleppo city, Damascus, Latakia, Tartus cities, Homs, Hama, and therefore this I guess many people in Turkey now will be in support of Erdogan, because Turkey used to be empire, by the way, and many and in Turkish society this imperialistic worldview, I guess still quite relevant. right? And from that point of view, Turkey achieved a historical victory right now on its path to rebuild the former empire. I don't think Turkey will be able to rebuild the empire really. And I'm not even sure that Turkey will be able to survive this success that they had right now, because in my understanding, Turkey had, Syria is a bite that Turkey cannot swallow. Turkish economy is in very difficult situation, really, really struggling, and now, if Turkey would not deliver in Syria, very same people that were uploading to these terrorist groups, as if they were liberators, very same people will take up arms and start their hostilities, and they will blame Turkey. First of all, they will blame Turkey because everyone understands now Turkey is in charge, right? And I don't think Turkey is in position to deliver anything really, anything positive to Syrian people. Most likely they will force now Syrians, several million Syrians that were located in Turkey, to go back, and they will try to shut down border as much as possible, and Syria will become sort of big ghetto, escape from which is going to be really, really difficult stuff. And all the neighboring countries will do the same, by the way, because no one wants millions and millions of refugees. Not just Turkey, but I don't think Israel will be happy to receive any refugees from Syria. Lebanon has its own problems, and I believe Lebanese security services already are increasing its presence on the borderline with Syria. Iraq, by the way, has its own issues, and Iraq has deployed their thousands of its troops on Syrian border. So, and right now Erdogan may be very popular in Turkey, and people might support him despite all the economical, social issues, because of this success that geopolitically speaking Turkey had by regaining control over the Damascus, by the way, which is a historical development, right? But eventually, I think Turkey will go down a big way, exactly because of this incursion into Syria, because Syria is a weight that Turkey cannot lift. There is no way, by the way. And when it comes to cooperation between Turkey and Israel, if people of Turkey were really that supportive of Palestinian cause, I guess we would see some stronger pressure on Erdogan's government, isn't it? Did we see it? Not really. So that's the answer there. If anyone was supporting Palestinians, by the way, really, if any country was supporting big time, that was Iran. And many people don't even pay attention to this nuance that Palestinians, for example, majority of Palestinians, vast majority, are Sunni Muslims. And Iran is a Shiite Muslim country, right? And despite some differences, Iran was pursuing this noble idea to support Palestinian people and their fight for freedom, right? And Hezbollah, obviously. Hezbollah is not a country, it's a political party, by the way, in Lebanon that has a military wing. That's what Hezbollah is. And Hezbollah was created as a result of Israeli occupation of Lebanon at the time, right? Although since then, at some point Israel left Lebanon, and Hezbollah become also one of the main forces in that was supporting Palestinian cause. But definitely not Turkey, by the way. Turkish leadership was good in PR campaigns, strong statements, some PR actions. and that's it, really. And Turkey was always maybe not always, but for many years we're cooperating with Israel, and still cooperates, by the way. I think there is close ties still between Erdogan and Turkish secret services and Netanyahu and Israeli secret services, still until now. I think that's definitely the case. And Turkey receive quite a lot of technologies, by the way, from Israel. This cooperation is beneficial for both sides. So Joseph Roy is asking, has any media in Russia recently reported that Joe Biden is possibly not alive? No, dear friend, I did not see any such a report in any big name in Russian media, big or small name. I'm seeing this news from you now. First time Russian media did not report about it, so maybe I missed something, I don't know, but On Взгляд, Коммерсант, Interfax, RIA Novosti, TASS, or RT, or any other outlet that I'm monitoring, I did not see any news like that. And I see a question. Sorry, dear friend, I cannot read hieroglyphs. I cannot say your nickname. But question is, Levan, who is the most ruthless and power-hungry Georgian in your opinion? Stalin, Saakashvili, or Erdogan? Why do Georgians love committing mass murder and war crimes so much? Is it in DNA? No, dear friends, this is of course exaggeration, big time. Hitler was not Georgian, isn't it? And he committed crimes that no one can come close, right? What about Genghis Khan? I mean, he almost exterminated humanity, by the way, right? So there is in every nation, by the way, you might find political or public figures that are some extreme individuals in many ways, and I don't think there are any exceptions in this. You might find good people and bad people everywhere in every society, right? That's how it is. And Erdogan, by the way, he is not Georgian. Ethnically he is, but he is a Turkish nationalist. And I try now to open the map, by the way. I hope internet communication will not be lost because of it, because this map is quite demanding. And I want to show you some parts of Turkey, dear friend, where predominantly ethnic Georgians are still living until now. So this is Georgia, of course, Southern Caucasus region, and sometime in the past, by the way, right, centuries ago, entire this territory, it was a trap zone empire, name of the country, that was basically Georgian kingdom also, right? And in this area, coastal line area here, millions of ethnic Georgians are living. Most likely more Georgians ethnically are living in this part of Turkey than in Georgia itself, right? I don't have some latest studies on this matter, but I would not be surprised at all if that exactly the case. That is exactly the case, that more ethnic Georgians are living here than in Georgia. But what happened is that Turkey always had an approach of assimilation, forceful assimilation of the people, right? And once Turkey established control over these parts of land that where Georgians, ethnic Georgians were living, they start this forceful assimilation of the people. And what happened is that even now, some may tell you there that they have Georgian roots, right? They are ethnic Georgians, but they can hardly speak a few words in Georgian, if any, right? They are not Orthodox Christian, right? They are Turks, and many of them are Turkish nationalists. And Erdogan is one of them. Erdogan is a Turkish nationalist, and dear friend, here is Ajaria Autonomous Republic of Georgia, right? Batumi is the capital of this autonomous republic. Wonderful city, by the way. And Erdogan, I believe, said openly a few times that Batumi is a Turkish city. So you see what I mean, isn't it? He is a Turkish nationalist. He don't cares about Georgians. He don't give them about Georgians at all. He is a Turkish nationalist. So whatever crimes he committed those crimes as a Turkish president, not as a Georgian, right? When it comes to Stalin, by the way, there are different views on Stalin. Stalin was Georgian Ossetian. Ethnically, Jugashvili, his surname, Jugati, this is an Ossetian surname, and Ossetians are descendants of Alans, right? Scytho-Sarmatians. So Stalin was he was calling himself Russian, right? But he was Georgian Ossetian, as I am. He was born and raised in Georgia with their Ossetian ethnic roots. And when it comes to Saakashvili, well, Saakashvili is a war criminal, and it is a shame that that criminal ever become president of Georgia, because his rule was definitely devastation for Georgia, especially 2008 tragedy that happened to Georgia and in Georgia and between Georgian and Ossetian people, and eventually Russia, story, isn't it? Russia eventually recognized independence of Ossetia and Abkhazia, which created additional barriers in terms of relationships between Moscow and Tbilisi, but it's not about ethnicity, by the way. It's about there are good people and bad people just about everywhere, right? So it is what it is. Nidish Kumar is asking, I lost the question. Nidish Kumar is asking, hello Nidish, Levan, how do you see Germany terror attack and their narrative by Western media? Do you think they are trying to ban IDF and this is groundwork being done? That's a possibility, dear friends. Initially, when I see news about this attack, I was mistaken. I was thinking maybe some extremist or Islamic fundamentalist went on this, conducted this terrorist attack. But it's not the case. This person is from Saudi Arabia, but seems like he is a sort of Islamophobe, right? And one member of our community shared additional information with me, and I'm grateful for that. And you have a good point. You have a good point. Maybe this is exactly their attempt by certain influential groups in Germany and outside of Germany to basically ban Alternative for Germany party, because they are popular, right? They are gaining momentum more and more. So maybe that's what is happening there. But I'm not that good in Germany's internal politics, so I don't know, but I will not be surprised at all if we will see some more such provocations, and then strong actions against older public figures or politicians or the political parties that be designated as ultra-right parties or ultra-right in general. So yeah, and dear friends, almost an hour, by the way, and I did not share no news for now, and let me go through at least some of them. For example, on my Telegram, I did report it that Russian air defense systems intercepted 42 drones overnight and the early hours of this morning. I spoke about it in today's first update. Also, this morning in the first update, I reported about. Oh, let me check donation alert, by the way, just in case. So nothing here. So this morning I reported about this news that U.S. Navy shut down, accidentally intercepted its own FA-18 fighter jet. And later on today, Houthi rebels actually stated that it's them that intercepted a U.S. FA-18. Pilots ejected from the plane and they are safe, but plane is of course lost. And I mean, you tell me who you believe now. Friendly fire occurs. Unfortunately, this is objective reality, and time to time friendly fire takes even lives. Nothing to be said about military equipment, but Houthi rebels also already proved many times that they are well capable of intercepting aerial targets. They brought down quite a few US drones, right? And they are well capable of intercepting US planes also. I mean, manned planes also, like FA-18s. So I don't know who to believe, really. Was it a friendly fire, or it's a Houthi rebels that intercepted this FA-18? I don't know. But anything is possible. Also interesting news that British... Yes, Joseph Roy is commenting that Houthi shut down FA-18. That's a possibility. I mean, they have means to, take action against aerial targets for sure. Also interesting news that British soldiers are leaving the army in mass despite the record pay rise. The Telegraph reported, British media outlet. According to their publication, more than 15,000 people left the armed forces in October. I mean, what is happening, dear friends? I mean, more than 15,000 people left armed forces in October alone. I mean, this is big, man. And I guess this type of articles may serve several purposes. First, to inform public about dire situation in British armed forces, and secondly, and this second part may be priority for the British government, is to lay down ground for reintroduction of conscription, because otherwise there might be no British army no more, in a couple of years' time, because there will be not that many people that would like to serve and be used as some sort of contractor, private contractor, right? Because US Army, British Army nowadays, and for a decade now actually, are used as a private military companies all around the world, isn't it? And people, including militaries, by the way, that are patriots of their countries in US or in UK or elsewhere, they don't want to be used as some sort of private contractor. They want to serve their people. And if they have no such opportunity, then why would they spend their life in the army, right? So I guess it's only a matter of time, and London will reintroduce conscription, mandatory, that NATO member states will start reintroducing conscription. I started talking about such a possibility many months ago, isn't it? Also, then I share the link to today's first update. Russian military personnel liberated 2 settlements in a day. Lazovaya in the Kharkov region and Krasnoye in the DPR. This was reported by Russian Defense Ministry. Also interesting news, by the way. Interesting news. I guess many members of our community are familiar with this development that Elon Musk come up with initiative to conduct at least a basic cognitive tests for elected officials. And he said this while commenting on this story that that 81-year-old Congresswoman Kay Granger from Texas ended up in a nursing home for dementia patients after getting lost on the street. The Wall Street Journal previously reported that Joe Biden's inner circle had tried to shield the US president from lengthy, unprepared conversations during his 4 years in office. Former administration officials said Biden, who regularly gives his political opponents reasons to doubt his cognitive abilities, often seemed out of touch with their events. And well, I mean, Elon Musk definitely has a point, and it's not for US but everywhere. Officials should definitely take at least basic cognitive tests. It should be mandatory. I mean, why not? People that might have some some mental issues should not be allowed to take official positions because it's just too dangerous for society and for the state, right? So this initiative of Elon Musk definitely does make sense in my personal opinion. I mean, you may agree with me or disagree, but also, dear friends, interesting news that Qatar will stop supplying LNG to EU, European Union, if Qatar energy companies face fines for breaching corporate sustainability criteria, including carbon emissions, human rights, and the labor rights. Energy Minister Saad Al-Kaabi told the Financial Times, and then quote, "I will not accept that we are punished. I will stop supplying gas to Europe." And this is a big deal, dear friends, because Qatar is obviously major player when it comes to LNG exports, right? And I don't think EU is in a position to lose supplies from Qatar. I mean, they just cannot afford this, right? European economies hardly can afford such a move. But we will find out. So-called elites in Europe successfully destroyed relationships with Russia, Russian energy companies, and by doing so, basically, created this down spiral path for European economies, right? And we are now observing the industrialization of the Europe. So therefore, if EU so-called politicians manage to destroy relationships with their major energy supplier like Russia, then it is also possible that they will destroy relationships with Qatar also. I mean, who knows, man? It is a possibility for sure. Then, by the way, this is the news that I was talking about a few minutes ago, that Yemenis Houthis claimed to have shut down US Navy's F-18 Super Hornet fighter jet, and I don't know, man. US officials claim that it was US Navy that shut down its own plane by mistake. Houthis claim they shut down this plane. We don't know where the truth is, isn't it? And then announcement for today's live stream. Today was quite a slow day news-wise, isn't it? For sure, and not surprisingly, because just like little more than a week, and New Year is coming, and media outlets, stuff in the media outlets are, I guess, with one foot already in holidays, and also politicians, I guess, not that keen to make any moves or any statements these days. I don't know, but today was relatively slow, news-wise for sure. And dear friends, I see no questions, and therefore maybe I should end the update now. You know, we had a good chat, isn't it? Thank you all for your comments, for your questions, and I'm happy to see when members of our community exchanging opinions in the chat. That's why these updates. That's why I miss these updates. By the way, these community chats. You know, and I'm happy that I'm back with this program. So what you say, dear friends? Should I end this update now? Oh, I see a question from Nidish Kumar. Levan, what will be gender ratio looks like after the war ends in Russia and Ukraine? Well, when it comes to Ukraine, well, situation will be, of course, devastating for society there, because hundreds of thousands of military-age men were killed there in action, according to Western experts, by the way, from 5 to 700,000 potentially. Also, hundreds of thousands lost their health as a result of this proxy war that West is waging against Russia. So there will be inevitably demographic crisis on territories, this former Soviet Republic. When it comes to Russia, Russia already experiences demographic issues, and government is trying hard, by the way, to encourage creation of young families and to encourage families to have more and more kids. There is a big campaign in this regard here in Russia for many years now, but it does not work as much as everyone would like, right? And I guess more will be done. More programs will be created to support families that have kids. So more families will think about right, and of course, this special military operation casualties as a result of this operation will make this demographic situation more difficult for Russia also. Although as I already said, by the way, in this regard, Russia is experiencing some difficulties way before special military operation started. So I guess what should we expect is that government probably will come up with some additional incentives, additional programs to encourage families to have more and more kids. And by the way, just recently I read some article about divorce rate in Russia, and divorce rate is also on increase, which is definitely not good for to deal with the demographic problems, right? So there's so much to do in this regard, and government alone cannot deal with all this stuff. By the way, it's up to society also, right? But obviously, demographic situation for Russia and for Ukraine will only deteriorate as a result of this conflict. Although situation was already quite difficult in this regard. Tommy T is asking Levan, what do you think their population is in Ukraine right now, down from 40 million in 1991? Hard to tell, dear friends, hard to tell, because there is no single database, isn't it? Even Kiev regime probably has no idea how many people are living now on Kiev-controlled territory. Millions of people went towards the west. Millions of people, even before special military operation, by the way. Right? Ask Polish people, for example. Hundreds of thousands, maybe even over a million Ukrainians were living and working in Poland, for example, way before special military operation started. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of citizens of Ukraine, potentially millions, were spread all around Europe. And after special military operation started, of course, significantly more people went towards the west. And according to latest reports that I see about Ukrainian refugees in Russia, number is, I believe, 4 to 5 million. Western media outlets may not give you this information, but here in Russia, there are 4 to 5 million Ukrainians, by the way, refugees. And I know personally few of them, right? So, and trust me, government here is creating quite a number of programs to help Ukrainian refugees to assimilate, to adapt as fast as possible, to become citizen of Russia if they want to, right? So they are receiving significant support in Russia, and there are millions, at least 3 to 4. But last time, I believe, one of the high-ranking officials, or maybe even Putin, spoke about it. I can't remember right now who was saying that there is about 4 to 5 million Ukrainian refugees here in Russia. So it is difficult to tell how many people are living in Kiev-controlled territory at this point. I guess maybe up to 15 to 18 million, 20 million maybe, I don't know. Probably no one knows really at this point, Also, Bencher Dent is commenting, Levan, hope to see you on the next live stream. Oh, thank you, Bench, for participating. Ruth Greeting is here, veteran of our community. Ruth was one of the first members of our community, dear friends. Hello, Ruth. And Venture Dent is commenting, thank you, Levan and the community. Wishing you all Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Of course, Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy New Year. We will have a stream, by the way, before New Year. But for members of our community who celebrates Christmas on 25th of December, of course, I will use this live stream and I will congratulate now. And of course, I will congratulate on 25th also, but this is a live stream and news updates are pre-recorded videos. So, of course, Happy Christmas to everybody. Tommy T is asking, why do the comments you have posted not match the comments I can see? For example, I do not see Wavin and Andy, but they are posting messages to you. Really? You mean Telegram, right? Or chat? I don't know, dear friends. I'm not that good in all these programs and how these chats and comments are working. But what I do know is that once one of the members of our community asked me not to share directly from other Telegram channels because in some countries those channels are blocked. So therefore, I have to copy paste basically news that I see on some other channels. Otherwise, it would be much easier for me just to directly share their news. But those channels, seems like are blocked in different countries. I guess my channel is blocked also in some countries. I don't know, man. Not just on Telegram, but my YouTube channel probably are blocked in some countries. Once one member of our community told me that in Denmark or in one of the European countries, it was, or I can't remember now, but in one of the countries, the only way you could watch my videos on YouTube is through VPN, because it was blocked there, And we are talking about small channel, by the way, right? But at least YouTube did not yet deleted my channel. I see a question. Wovin. I can see Wovin question. Is Russia still accepting foreigners and giving land parcels in the east? Don't want to stay in Canada in case these maniacs give us up to American annexation. Yes, there is a programs in Russia, by the way, and if you want to move in Far East, you might receive a lender, you might receive a mortgage under 2%, by the way, which is unheard of, right? I mean, mortgage under 2%, that's a quite good stuff. But if you are willing to move into Far East, yes, those programs are for Russian citizens. And when it comes to accepting people from other countries, of course, I mean, Russia never closed its borders to anybody, and more and more people are coming to Russia and trying to become citizens. Yes, including from the West, by the way. And I believe, as I said many times before, I believe give it another 5 or 10 years, by the way, and Russia will be one of the major, if not the major destination of the migration from the Western countries. And people who want to live in normality will come here and apply for citizenship, and majority of them, maybe, let's say majority of them will receive citizenship, I believe. There will be some thorough, checks, to make sure that, good people are coming in, good, hardworking, law-obeying people, not some assets of certain free-let organizations, but Russia is open and never close its doors, by the way, its borders. And there is plenty of programs, by the way, in place to encourage Russian citizens to move into Far East. Plenty of programs. And if you want to, have a lander, you can have a lander. If you want to farm, by the way, this is Russia, isn't it? Biggest country in this world. So if you have knowledge, expertise in farming, and you want to do business in this area, you will have opportunity, of course. And that's what many Westerners are doing, by the way. I follow several channels. Many of them have channels, by the way, and I follow several of them on YouTube. And they are trying to do some farming business and this and that stuff that they are familiar, because they used to work in this farming business in Australia or in Canada or elsewhere, right? So yes, come to Russia, dear friends. If it was up to me, I will make it easier for Westerners to come to Russia, to move, to emigrate to Russia, because these are, of course, law-obeying, hardworking people that have expertise in many different fields, and they can achieve success for themselves, their families, and they will be useful for society in general, right? They will make us bigger and stronger. So if it was up to me, I will make it much easier, by the way, because right now it is quite difficult to emigrate in Russia, but And dear friends, sorry if I miss any questions. It's already like 1 hour and 20 minutes. This stream is going. So Tommy T is asking, has there been any discussion in Russia on how repatriation of Ukrainians will occur? I see Mariupol has received up to 300,000 people back after their surge. Yes, dear friends, as I was asked many times before, will Russia allow residents of liberated cities and towns and villages to go back there? And of course, answer is yes, obviously. And Mariupol is a prime example, dear friends. Russia is rebuilding the city, and Mariupol will, once all this reconstruction is done, Mariupol will look like never before, right? And yes, I also 1,000 people went back to Mariupol, and once this conflict will end and Russian militaries will make sure that areas are clean from mines and some explosive materials, and it is safe to go back for civilians. Of course, civilians will be encouraged to go back to their homeland, and they will receive support, all the necessary support from society and the government, by the way, to rebuild their houses. Most likely, in many cases, state will finance rebuilding of the settlements, and then people will enter new house, right? That's how in Mariupol is happening, by the way. Entire new blocks have been built from the scratch because the damage was severe, right? And their cities basically is built from rebuilt from their new, right? Does is commenting videos from Mariupol channel shows the amazing stuff done by Russia in Mariupol. I'm telling you, dear friends, you just Google it or use Yandex, by the way. Google may not even show you, but use Yandex, Russian search engine, and you will see. I mean, just search for Mariupol, rebuilding of Mariupol, and you will see yourself. It's very significant progress being achieved by in terms of rebuilding this city, and hundreds of thousands of people are going back, and very same will happen in every other settlement, by the way, that will be liberated by Russian forces. No doubts about that. And people from those cities and their villages will have no issue whatsoever to go back to their houses because it's there, right? So there is no question about that here in Russia, by the way. It's their houses, their land in that regard, absolutely. And dear friends, if I may, I will end this update now. We had a good conversation, isn't it? We had a good conversation. Thank you all for your attention and support, for participating, and many thanks to all the members of our community who will watch this video later on. I hope they will find our conversation interesting also. Have a wonderful day, and see you tomorrow.